Reviews. My name is Lonzo Brinker, and guys, we are finally here talking about one of our most anticipated films for 2021. This cut is finally here. We always wanted to see this version of 2017's Justice League ever since the movie came out, and now it's finally here. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Basically, this is Zack Snyder's own version and own original idea of Justice League that came out in 2017 that's directed by Joss Whedon. This movie has the exact same original cast as Justice League, with the same story, same concept, but with very different motivations. Batman and Wonder Woman recruit a new age of heroes to stop villains like Steppenwolf and Darkseid from getting these Mother Stones that will make and destroy the world as they know it. Now let's talk about Whedon's Justice League. Let's talk about why this cut and why this movie is even coming out in the first place. During the production of 2017's Justice League, Zack Snyder was doing his own vision of the movie until a lot of things happened in production, including his daughter Autumn passing away from suicide. So of course Zack Snyder has to leave the set and leave the production of Justice League to take care of family business, and Warner Bros. Didn't want this movie to be cancelled or postponed. So they hired Joss Whedon as the director of the Avengers to finish the project, which makes him do a lot of story changes and a lot of reshoots, which changed most of the film as we know it, and we got 2017's Justice League, which, in my opinion, I don't hate the film. I do think the film was pretty disappointing. I gave it a positive review back in 2017. I was mainly entertained by most of the movie. I do think my biggest issue, though, with Whedon's cut is that most of the story elements were rushed, the humor wasn't really there, and most of the battle scenes and the whole execution wasn't really there, in my opinion. We wish we could have had more explanation, we could have had more construction with it. So, everyone wanted this cut for a while. They wanted to see Zack Snyder's original vision of Justice League coming to life. Everyone wants this to happen until Zack Snyder officially announced that this is actually going to happen. He's going to show us his own version of Justice League, which that took guts for him, because I'm really worried that this will remind him of his daughter passing away. But you can really tell from this movie, Zack Snyder is doing this for the fans. He doesn't want to disappoint the fans, and I feel like it's the right time doing it right now. I would say if he did do it after a year, I think he will still remember his daughter. So I think we need him to take some time to think about doing a film like this, and I think this is the right time for him for doing it. So yes, my expectations with this cut, I was honestly very interested. From the first teaser trailer, I was like, okay, I am not seeing the Whedon cut, I'm seeing Zack Snyder's own vision of Justice League. But I'm also very skeptical of this movie because, you know, Batman v Superman was our most anticipated film ever. Like, everyone wanted to see Batman v Superman, and that movie was a flop. It was a huge disappointment by everybody. So I don't want this movie to happen too. And honestly, I like Zack Snyder as a director. He's a very good visual director. Love 300, love Watchmen, especially love Man of Steel. In my opinion, it's one of the best Superman films that came out in a while. I gave hope for this movie. I'm giving so much hope for this movie until I heard a lot of good buzz about this film, which makes me much more excited for this film. And I did watch the Whedon cut leading up to this movie to spot a lot of differences, and especially that this movie is 4 hours and 2 minutes long. It's a long ass movie, so I was really prepared. I was very excited for this movie. So, here we go. What are my thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League? Is this worth watching? Is this better than the Whedon cut? Is this movie worth a shot? Absolutely. Guys, not just, I would say, is the better version of Justice League that we've gotten. I think this is the best thing that Zack Snyder has ever done, in my opinion. Yes, this movie is 4 hours and 2 minutes long, but I think it's worth it because most of this film fixes what Whedon cut has done in the first place. I think this movie does a really great job at developing the story, developing the characters, developing the action scenes, showing us that Zack Snyder really knows what the problems are with the Whedon cut and wants to fix it for us and make it better, and this movie is definitely better than the Whedon cut, absolutely. Like this cut of the movie, I don't need it anymore. Hopefully this comes out on Blu-ray. So, of course, let's talk about what makes this movie better than the Whedon cut. And yes, there's going to be a lot of comparing in this review, but it's just, you have to for this type of movie, because this is still 2017's Justice League, but Zack Snyder's own vision of it, own version of it. And I think the thing I love about this movie is that, like I saw in the teaser trailer, right from the start of this movie, I am saying, this is not Joss Whedon's Justice League. This is Zack Snyder's version of the movie. It's a completely different movie with the same plot, but it's constructed more differently. It has more motivation than the Whedon cut was. I think the story of this film was written really, really great, and I'm really glad that this movie is 4 hours long, because this movie, from the first 2 hours of the film, took its time to develop the characters. The characters in the movie were much more developed better than the Whedon cut was, especially throughout the new characters. Of course, Ben Affleck as Batman was great in this film. Gal Gadot has more to do in Wonder Woman in this movie, and she is fantastic in the film. But I think the thing that really stood out in this cut were actually the new recruits in the film. Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. Let's talk about probably my favorite out of them, Cyborg. They really developed Cyborg's character much more better in this film. Ray Fisher and Joss Whedon had their ups and downs on set, and you can really tell why this happens, because we didn't get much of Cyborg's backstory in the Whedon cut. It's very rushed. It's very not well written. In this movie, we explore more of Cyborg's backstory. We explore more of Cyborg and his dad. We explore more why he became a cyborg in the first place. And Ray Fisher in the film really shows us his acting abilities in this film. He is probably my favorite character in this entire movie. He is fantastic in this film, and I'm honestly really happy to see Cyborg develop much more better, and I honestly still want to see a Cyborg movie, because I really want his character to be explored much more, because I love his character. Even Flash's character was developed much more better than the Whedon cut was, because in the Whedon cut, he's much more of a comedic character. Like, he really didn't do much in the film. He's much more scared of, like, fighting. He's just, the only action scene he actually does is save this family. And that's it, which they are not in this movie, which I'm honestly glad, because that's one of the worst aspects of that film. I think Flash's character was developed more better. He becomes the most important part of the group, really, surprisingly. And I think, of course, like Ray Fisher, Ezra Miller was fantastic as the Flash. He definitely brings some comedy in, but also bring his acting abilities in. And I love his character, Barry Allen, in this film. We explore him a lot more. Again, we explore him more with his dad. We explore why is he like this in the first place, and we explore more why is he an important member of the team. There are moments in the film that I'm just like, okay, it makes sense why Flash is in that group. Even Aquaman, he was my least favorite character in the 2017 movie, and his character was also developed much more better than the Whedon cut was, even though I still would say he's probably my least out of the group. Also, the look of this movie, absolutely they did a lot better. It's definitely the look that we wanted to see ever since the first trailer of 2017 Justice League. A very dark, greyish movie. Like in the Whedon cut, we see a lot of red in the final battle scene, which doesn't match the movie at all. It really looks strange for that movie. This movie, they of course used the black tone for the movie, and I love that. It shows us that this movie is much more darker than the Whedon cut. It shows us that this movie is much more adulty than the Whedon cut was. I feel like the Whedon cut is doing that for kids, like for kids to enjoy that type of movie, but this movie definitely develops what Zack Snyder wanted, just from the look of this movie. I even like the aspect ratio. A lot of people could be controversial about the aspect ratio, saying, why is it this 16.9 aspect ratio? I honestly really like this aspect ratio. I think it works in the film. It's very big scaled. When you see the action scenes, it makes sense why the aspect ratio is like that. Speaking of action scenes, hell yeah, the action scenes were much more better developed than the Whedon cut was. Holy crap, the action was amazing. They show a lot of new stuff. The action was violent, it was badass, it was really well paced, and it was also really well filmed. And another thing they did a lot better than the Whedon cut was, really surprisingly, is Steppenwolf. I feel like Steppenwolf in the 2017 Justice League was such a bomb. Like, his look in the 2017 Justice League looked terrible. I hate that design of Steppenwolf. And even him as a character, he just plays a very stereotypical villain. In this movie, Steppenwolf looks better. His armor looks much more badass, and even the CGI looks absolutely amazing. His CGI face was also freaking good. And the voice was even better. It's much more deep. It's much more menacing. And he is menacing in this film, but also he has motivation. His motivations in this film was much developed better than it was in 2017 Justice League. There are times that I actually feel sympathy for a villain. He's not like Heath Ledger's Joker or anything, you know, he blew us away. But I was honestly really surprised that he is developed much more better. They made Steppenwolf actually a much better villain. And in my opinion, after this film, he turns out to be my favorite villain in the DC Extended Universe, just from this cut of Justice League. And even they introduced some new villains in the film as well, like Darkseid, which is the thing that everyone was really excited to see. I think his character was really well developed. His look was badass, and I even done some research of Darkseid. He's basically DC's Thanos, and he doesn't really do all that much in the film because, of course, Steppenwolf is still the villain in this film, but his appearance in the film makes me so excited to see future projects after this cut. Hopefully they do much more future projects after this and kind of explore more of Darkseid, because I think his character was really cool. Also, another thing they did better, Henry Cavill as Superman. I think in the 2017 Whedon Cut of Justice League, not saying that I didn't like his character because of that CGI mouth in him, because that looked terrible as well. But I think Superman's character was just much more rushed in that film, and I just felt like, yeah, it just felt like it's just there. In this movie, there's a reason why they bring Superman to life. They give more explanation why Superman has to come back. I love his black suit in this film, much more better. I honestly didn't understand why we didn't make him wear the black suit, because in the comic books, that's what the death of Superman happens. He wears a black suit. Even though he still is shaved, like he has a CGI mouth, I really wish they could have put the beard on him, to be honest. Like, I think it wouldn't matter, but it's not a big nitpick, I'm fine with that. But Superman's character was much more better developed in this film. Even though he was technically in the final act of the film, his character was still developed really, really well in the film. And Henry Cavill, of course, great performance as Superman. There's even a moment in this film that they developed Superman's character really, really well. The score also in this film by Cgi XL. John Williams did the score in the Whedon cut, which is okay, but I think Cgi XL's score in this film was phenomenal. Some of the best scores I've ever heard of this entire year. I think his score in the movie was fantastic. It was so intense and so different. It shows that this is Zack Snyder's version of the film just from that score in the movie. He's also going to compose a score for Kong vs. Godzilla, which I'm going to see next Wednesday. Really excited to see the score after this movie. This is definitely the better version of Justice League that we needed. This whole movie, I was invested. Even though, once again, it's 4 hours long. It's a completely long movie. The big thing I like about this movie is that you feel invested. You don't feel like it's 4 hours long. You feel like you're watching a movie that has a perfect runtime, in my opinion. Does this movie have flaws, though? I would say yes. First off, I still think Lois Lane shouldn't be in the movie. I feel like Lois Lane's character was fine in this movie. They did develop her character a little bit better. But I do think she's just there to basically complain that Superman is dead, and then when Superman's alive, you know, she's with him for a bit. But I feel like she has nothing to do with the story, because it's a story about Justice League, this whole team fighting villains. And I just felt like her in this movie just felt like a character in the background that shouldn't be in this film. I know Lois Lane is Superman's love interest, and they have to put her in the film because she's part of the DC Extended Universe. But I feel like it would have been better if she wasn't in the film. Even Diane Lane as Martha Kent, same thing. Even though Amy Adams and Diane Lane did a really good performance in this film anyway. Also, I would say that there are some CGI effects that looked a bit off at some scenes. Not all of it. The CGI in this movie, for the most part, is fantastic. The special effects look good. But some of the special effects on Cyborg, it could be modified a bit better. It's not terrible. Like, I'm fine with the CGI for Cyborg, but I feel like they could have done the CGI a little bit more better. Even, in my opinion, the ending of the film, even though there are some really good surprises at the end, like Chris Stuckman said in his review, it's going for the Return of the King ending, which I completely agree. I felt like they could have just ended when the final battle happens and then move on. Those scenes could have just been, in my opinion, in the end credit scenes, in my personal opinion. It's not that I hate the ending, there are some really good surprises at the end, including something that we've seen in the trailer that we're all leading up to, which is fantastic, but I just felt like that was kind of put in the wrong place, in my opinion. But guys, overall, yes, Zack Snyder's Justice League was a big surprise for me. This is definitely, absolutely a better cut of Justice League that we deserved back in 2017. Zack Snyder has done it. He made his vision, he made his cut of the movie, and it paid off really, really well. In my opinion, after I watched this film, this might be my favorite Zack Snyder film, and also my favorite film in the DC Extended Universe. Absolutely, this film smashed Whedon's cut to the ground. The characters are better, the story is better, the action is better, the look, the special effects, the score, everything about this movie really boned Joss Whedon's cut to the ground. We finally get to see Zack Snyder's vision, and it really paid off. And it turns out, in my opinion, I'm saying this a lot of times in these reviews, this might be my favorite film that I have seen in 2021. I'm going to give Zack Snyder's Justice League an A. So guys, there's a lot of reviews coming up. I still have to review Coming to America, still have to review Judas and the Black Messiah, and I'm going to see a screening this Wednesday of Kong vs. Godzilla coming out. So look forward to those, guys, including a top 10 list that I always wanted to do for a while. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. That is my review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments below. Do you like the film, hate the film, or you thought it's okay? Just let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below, Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter. Keep contacting me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest movie reviews, and have a nice day.